Well, Manchester City have signed Matheus Nunes. It's been confirmed as a City player, £53 million. Pep's been a fan for a very long time. I found this quote from February 2022, after they'd beaten Sporting 5-0 in a Champions League game, when he said Matheus Nunes is one of the best players in the world today. So this is a long-standing interest that has been firmed up.
Interesting.
Loads going on at Nottingham Forest today. They've signed Nuno Tavares. They will have a new goalkeeper in the building from Benfica in the next few hours. Callum Hudson-Odoi is already in the building, going through the formalities of his move. That deal is going to be announced by lunchtime today. Now, this is interesting. Brennan Johnson, he has left Nottingham Forest's training ground. He is going down to London to be in the right place at the right time, should they agree a deal with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Nottingham Forest are also in for Ibrahima Sangare of PSV Eindhoven. He's a defensive midfield player, Ivory Coast international. That deal only gets done, though, if Johnson moves on to Tottenham Hotspur.
I see. So are we talking deja vu in terms of Peter Odemwingie here?
I think they're just making sure that all the bases are covered here.
Right. So he's kind of hanging about London, waiting for the green light.
He's positioned himself in the right area so that if something happens, it can be done.
Good grief. You used to operate in discotheques like that, Simon, didn't
you? No, I'll ignore that.
It's just professional,
I'll ignore that comment, but it's exactly the same. Daniel Levy did the same thing to me with Wayne Routledge. Put Wayne Routledge round the corner, and I was getting a bid going up by about $5,000 every hour from Daniel for younger under 21 Wayne Routledge, and I was like, no, Daniel, I don't want to sell him. This is on transfer. No, I don't want to sell him. No, I don't want to sell him. No, I don't want to sell him. He's not being sold. Anyway, even if I did want to sell him, it's 7-8 o'clock in the evening. You can't get a medical. Oh, don't worry about that. He's around the corner. Oh, he is he? now he's definitely not bleeding well going on that basis. So, so there is form for Mr. Levy on that basis.
And this is your pal Daniel.
This is my pal Daniel.
Wow, it's incredible what happens in the world of football. Murky business.
I can tell you about another bid that's been rejected that the Spurs have had rejected by Bournemouth for Lloyd Kelly, the central defender. They bid £20 million for him. That's been rejected. They also offered a part exchange with Eric Dyer, but the player, Eric Dyer, didn't want to go.
It's incredible. More and more we're hearing things like this, Martin. No, you might want to do a deal, but I particularly don't want to go there.
Well, there's so many components, isn't it, to make it work?
He's got 12 months left on his deal. He's not playing at the moment. He hasn't been in any of the matchday squads, not even for the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night.
But Dyer had an operation in the summer, so he was late to the start pre-season. So I think that's what you'll find. He's a little bit behind the rest of the group.
I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah, well, we'll see, won't we? So he's not going to be forced out, clearly, is he?
Well,
but Kelly is a decent player that I can understand why they'd want to take him.
Sam, just before we leave you, I've got Brighton fans asking me about Ansu Fati. Is this happening?
I think it will happen. Barcelona need to sign the paperwork. That hasn't been done at this moment of time, but I understand it to be a loan deal that will run till June next year. It's going to be costly in effect because they've got to pay his wages down at Brighton, but they haven't had to do much else in terms of loan fee. There's no obligation or, at this moment in time, option to buy him at the end of the transfer window. I mentioned it earlier. Do you know his buyout clause, as lodged with La Liga on his contract, is £1 billion? There's a slightly different way that the deals are structured in Spain, and all contracts have to have a release clause in them. And because of that, he was such a precocious talent. He took Lionel Messi's number 10 shirt at Barcelona. But they've got so many levers that they're trying to pull. Barcelona are a nightmare in terms of trying to get players on certain contracts so they can register them with La Liga. If you go back to the beginning of the season, I did their first game of the season against Getafe. 2 days beforehand, they only had 12 registered professionals in the building. So look, there's a lot to sort of sort out at Barcelona, and he's going to be a casualty. But great news for Brighton. What a player to get.
And the Premier League, isn't it? See a player of that quality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not for the first time, Sam. Brighton write headlines for the right reasons. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on many things today because it's transfer deadline day. We're at 11.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.